Network. Under our network setup pages, our landing page, we will see TCP/IP. This is going to be our IP address information for the NVR. Now, by default, when the NVR is installed, it will be on this DHCP. It will call out to whatever internet connection you've connected it to and get an IP address, which will be filled in below. Once that's happened, we can disable DHCP and keep that address, or if we need to change this to something else, we can edit this here and save. If you have multiple NIC cards on your NVR, you're able to use this dropdown to select the additional NIC card and set the needed settings. PPPoE, this is not going to be relevant as much anymore as it's referring to a DSL style connection. P2P, this is our cloud link to our starforlive.com service. This is also going to be where we receive all of our firmware upgrades from. So even if we're not utilizing this, we want to still leave it on so we're able to get those updates as needed. It's going to have a register code. This is going to be to assign our NVR to our account once it's created, to tell us if it's online or offline, what the status of that is, and what we've named our device and our user account. Our QR code is going to be scanned from the mobile app. That's going to allow us to add our NVR to our mobile device. We've also got a helpful YouTube series over here called SCW Help Desk that will cover all of those steps in getting your NVR registered and online, as well as notifications and sharing the system to other users. Next option down, DDNS. This is going to typically require port forwarding to access the system. It gives you some options to use a DDNS address or a DNS dynamic IP address. So if you're configuring that, you're going to want to enter all your details here: username, password, repeated password. That's going to link you to any of these DDNS services or DNS services. Port, by default, we're going to be using 80, 443, and 554. These are able to be changed to any different number needed for network access, like 1010 or 8080, depending on the application. By default, it's just going to be 80, and that just allows us to use our blank IP address with no ports after it. Port mapping, this is talking about universal plug and play, which exists on some network devices. If your router supports it, this will basically attempt to find an open door to find its way out and connect to your phone. So depending on the application, we'll either need that on or off. Email. Now, the NVR itself does not have an email server built into it. So you have to enter in all your device information for whatever email service you're connecting to. In our case here, it's Gmail. We're going to use our password for our Gmail, SMTP server for Gmail, but use whatever preferred SMTP server you're using. Port, the time between the snapshots that go out to us through that email. We're also able to get up to 6 recipients of this email. So one of the recipients can be ourselves and up to 5 other people potentially. You also get a global limit on how often these emails are going out and what days of the week that happens. Otherwise, it's wide open 24 hours a day. Anytime something gets triggered, it will send you the email. Multicast, that's a very specific use case for redistributing video to a building. FTP, also a pretty specific use case, and for exporting our footage or snapshots out to an FTP server on site or a network attached storage.